flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Welcome to our Monday, June 11th school board meeting. We will start with our agenda, approval, deletions, additions. Dr. Veraco.
Thank you, Mrs. Seuss. You do have an agenda that was sent to you last week with no amendments for this evening. Thank you.
Thank you. Do we have a motion?
Motion to approve.
Motion by Mrs. Kelly. Second by Dr. Malco. Any discussion or questions? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes. Is there any correspondence this evening, Mrs. Kelly?
There is not, Mrs. Seuss.
We'll move right into our liaison committee updates. As you can see, we have a large crowd, so if we can be quick with those, that would be good. Mr. Marshall?
Thank you. Nothing forthcoming this evening.
Mrs. Kelly?
I also have nothing to report this evening.
Mrs. Talent? Mrs. Talent?
Excuse me, I have nothing to report.
Thank you. Dr. Malco?
Mrs. Talent and I just came from an Education Foundation meeting, and it was very productive. I have nothing on legislative. Dyer Parks is tomorrow night, so I'll give you a report next month or next time we meet. Thank you.
Thank you. And I have nothing for any of my committees, so we'll move into our official school board business topics consent agenda. Dr. Veraco?
Thank you. Seek board approval for the minutes from our executive session on May 20th, our regular board meeting on May 20th, and an executive session on May 28th. And seek board approval for the claims, payroll, and extracurricular expenditures you received in your packets last week.
Move to approve.
Motion by Mr. Marshall, and I will second that. Any discussion or questions? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. And there's no public comment regarding action items, so we'll move right into our official school board business topics regular agenda. Dr. Veraco.
Thank you again. So we are fortunate this evening to give special recognition to many of our students who participated in the Word Masters Challenge. So I would like for the board who are able to reassemble in front, and I'd ask the sponsors and principals, if they're here, of the Hibbich, Homan, and Watson schools to come forward to recognize our students.
Thank you.
Good evening. My name is Allison Petralia. I'm the principal at Bibbich, and with me I have Mrs. Julie Crary. She is our third grade high ability teacher, and I have some great things to say about her and her students. So 3 times each year, Mrs. Julie Crary's third grade high ability students at Bibbich participate in the National Word Masters Challenge with almost 125,000 other students across the nation. In the Word Masters Challenge, students learn new words that are well above grade level and then create analogies using those words. Mrs. Crary's class placed first in the nation in December, second in the nation in March, and fourth in the nation in May. We are so proud of our students and their magnificent achievements. Congratulations and well done. So I'll call your name up. You'll come up, shake Mrs. Crary's hand, and head this way. Got it? All right. We'll start with Mrs. Crary. Thanks.
All right.
Shaunak Abyankar. Shaunak Abyankar. Salen Akaya. Emily Arroyo. Camille Can. Rowan Haynes. Josie Johnson. Adeline Listina. Samantha Moss. Elizabeth Nearpass.
Congratulations.
Brian Nicholas. Gabriella Penkowski. Stefan Pavlovic. Killian Rogers.
Congratulations.
Riley Rundell. Zachary Schaff.
Congratulations.
Congratulations. Alexander Slomsky. Ethan Gershek. Congratulations. Marin Vukaripa. Bodie Waters. Congratulations. Matthew Wendelin.
Good job, good job.
Cole Westerhoff.
Congratulations.
Congratulations.
Super job.
Bradley Whitwood. Kylan Juan. Killian Rogers. Congratulations. And Lucas Zander.
Congratulations. Good job.
All right.
Thank you for allowing us to be here. I am Kathy Tucker. I'm the principal at Holman. I'm here with Mrs. Udich, who was our high ability teacher. It's kind of special for her and special for this class because Mrs. Udich retired this year, so this will be the last time that she gets to come here for a Word Master. So we're excited that she was able to attend, and we're great that they did so well. Her class, her third grade class, which they're now fourth graders, are here because for their nation's top 10 finish in the Word Masters Challenge this year. They scored an impressive 160 out of 200 in the last 3 meets this year, placing them 8th in the nation. They also placed 5th nationally in the overall competition with a cumulative score of 504 out of a possible 600. To add to that, Ariel Gerhardt earned individual highest honors in her overall competition, competing at the very high difficult level in the gold division. This honor is reserved for students who place among the top 10 to 15 students in their division. I'm now going to turn it over to Mrs. Udich, and she'll call out their names.
Thank you. Boys and girls, when I call your name, come up and get your certificate, and then you can shake your hand. Okay. Benjamin Ash. Madeline Bassick. Oliver Berducci. Gunnar Bishop. Brooklyn Dupin. Jensen Dupin. Carter Frazier.
Super. Good job.
Luke Ogle. Matthew Helkars.
Congratulations.
Charlotte Keaton.
Congratulations.
London Kinney.
They don't know what's going on.
Enzo Mendez.
Congratulations. All right. That's it. Congratulations.
Viraj Shah.
Congratulations.
And Lily Weber.
Congratulations. Good job.
Great job, boys and girls. I think we're going to take a photo. So.
Congratulations. Super job. Is Rob able to drive? No, he is? Well, I would think so. Yeah, okay, wow.
Good evening. My name is Michelle Lavin, and I'm the principal from Watson Elementary. Along with me tonight, I have Mrs. Sherry Thompson, who is our third grade high ability teacher. You have heard a little bit about our Wordmaster Challenge by the other principals, but our third grade team scored an impressive 184 points out of a possible 200 in the first 3 meets of the school year, placing 5th in the nation. Competing in this very difficult gold division of the Wordmaster Challenge, we did have a third grader, Sophie Anderson, who earned a perfect score in the challenge of 20. Nationally, that was a pretty big deal. Nationally, only 21 third graders achieved this result, so very impressive. So overall, Watson students placed 5th in the challenge in round 1. We had the perfect score in round 1 of Wordmaster Challenge, and then 9th place in Wordmaster Challenge on round 3. I'm going to turn it over to Mrs. Thompson in a minute to pass out our certificates, but I just want to mention that I have personally been invited in the past to take this challenge. It is incredibly difficult, and I really admire our students for doing so well.
And boys and girls, when you're done, you can come shake their hand and then come over there, okay? All right, so first up, we have Sophie Anderson. We have Mia Anaconbi. Olivia Alder. Alexa Bantayan.
Congratulations.
Richie Cast.
Congratulations.
Abrash Chakraborty.
Congratulations.
Claire Madrid.
Congratulations.
Cameron Newell. Millie Olenkamp. Liam Pierce.
Congratulations. Good job.
Madison Plasavas.
Congratulations.
Max Boswio.
Congratulations.
Jack Thierry.
Congratulations.
And Brinley Bishop.
Congratulations.
And then also our friends who aren't here, who helped us, Grace Ann Blackledge, Sai Chatavarapu, Mia Hu, Brinley Kensinger, Ryder Kostecki, Charlie McCabe, Reed McKay, Aaron Nelliman, Ellie Paxton, Quinn Sanchez, Wyatt Schultz, Emily Spisak, Brendan Summers.
I just want to quickly say that it takes, some very dedicated staff members to contribute to high student achievement. It takes, of course, a lot of hard work on the behalf of the young people, but it also requires support from home. So if the parents and friends and relatives who's ever here tonight, please stand to be recognized at this time.
Well said, Larry.
Handshake.
Thank you, Janice.
Oh, you're welcome, Howard. They are so cute. Their smiles
yeah.
at you are so darling. And they're all dressed up.
Enthusiastic is the word.
Oh, yeah. That's very true.
We are going to continue on with the business section of our meeting. This is a good time for you to depart if you have other things you'd like to attend to. Thanks for coming out.
Howard, I think
Oh.
there's one in there somewhere that needs
We'll
a
find it. We'll
referral.
find it. Okay.
I'm just going to go ahead and move on.
Yes.
Okay, I'm going to move on with our next agenda item, and that is to seek board approval for the board compensation policy 0144.1. Interested in having this approved this evening so that when we process the board's 6-month compensation for attending meetings, it will be at the new rate. The rest of the stuff I'd like to get to the board in July of 15. Remember, we had a work session and we did the first reading there. But if we could have another work session to wrap up a couple loose ends from the March packet, and then I just got some new policies last Thursday that I'd like to bring. So I'll get an email to the board, but it looks like if we could do that somewhere on either July 10th or 11th, maybe even July 9th, Tuesday, Wednesday, or Thursday of that week, then we could get the whole thing approved on the 15th and hopefully have it uploaded to the site before the first day of school. So I will send a board an email about a work session, making sure you're all able to attend. But in lieu of that, just the one policy I want to get through tonight, and that is BP 0144.1.
Move to approve on the superintendent's designation.
We have a motion by Mr. Marshall. Second by Dr. Malco. Any discussion or questions? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. Thank you.
Could I just, real quick, could I ask a question of clarity? So we only have one school board meeting in July, and that's the 15th, is that correct?
Yeah, that's been our practice.
Okay.
Thank you. And now on to our Assistant Superintendent, Mrs. Castaneda.
Thank you. For my first item, I am seeking the board's approval for the personnel recommendations.
So moved.
Motion by Dr. Malco.
I'll second.
Second by Mrs. Kelly. Any discussion or questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes.
Thank you. For my second item, I am seeking the board's approval for a bus driver pay increase this summer. There were many days last school year that our director and several other of our bus employees, such as our bus mechanic, had to help cover routes. We're hoping with the pay increase, we'll become more competitive with other school districts in the region to attract more drivers and retain the good ones that we already have.
Motion to approve?
Motion by Mrs. Kelly.
Second.
Second by Dr. Malco. Any questions or discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes.
Thank you. And then for my last item, I'm seeking the board's approval for the 24-25 employee handbooks. This includes the transportation manual, the classified handbook, the administrator's handbook, the food service handbook, and the certified terms of employment. Most of these were minor updates just in terms of titles and dates.
I'd like to move for approval of her recommendation.
We have a motion by Dr. Malco, and I will second that. Any discussion or questions? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. Thank you.
Thank you.
And our Director of Primary Education, Dr. Bracy.
Good evening. I just wanted to say kudos to all of our elementary principals and most of our assistant principals because today we began letters for administrators, and it is a 4-day workshop from about 8:30 until about 3:30, 4 days this week. And I am very proud of our administrators because we all decided if our teachers have to go through this program, then we should go through it as well. So today was our first day, and we just covered things like a school-wide system of change, analyzing data, leadership, PD, the literacy framework, and then we talked about reasons why reading is so difficult. And I was very impressed because with a lot of the things that were covered today, our administrators are already doing it. So kudos to our elementary team because they're doing an amazing job.
Dr. Bracy, could you remind me what that stands for? I know you've told me before, but I don't remember.
LETTER stands for Language Essentials for Teachers of Reading and Spelling.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you. And our Director of Secondary Education, Mrs. Schoeneman.
Thank you. For my first item, I'm seeking the board's approval for the professional leave requests that are included in your board packet.
Motion to approve?
Motion by Mrs. Kelly.
Second.
Second by Mrs. Talent. Any questions or discussion?
I was wondering, Mrs. Schoeneman, The Grimmer Choir is going to perform in Carnegie Hall?
Yes, they were invited, and I believe that that is something they have done in the past, years ago, pre-COVID. And then it's been a while, so she is thrilled. And I think they've been invited since, but now are able to return and thrilled at the opportunity.
That's very exciting. Are we allowed to tag along? No, I'm just teasing.
If you need me to, I will.
You would probably love that, wouldn't you?
I would.
The music in you, yeah.
Any other questions? All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. Thank you.
And for my second item, I am seeking the board's approval for the field trip requests, also included in your packet.
I'd like to move for approval of her recommendation.
Motion by Dr. Malco,
Second?
second by Mr. Marshall. Any discussion or questions? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. Thank you. And our Director of Student Services, Mrs. Grimala.
Yes, thank you. I just would like to update the board on our Title I EdFlex waiver and kind of explain that process. So Title I allows you to carry over up to 15% of your annual allocation. So if you don't spend that much in the allotted time, you can carry over up to 15%. Last year, we had 16.03% of our grant remaining. So in order to carry over the additional 1.03%, which was $10,259.13, we had to apply for an EdFlex waiver. So what the waiver process does is it allows us to increase our carryover amount to up to 25%. So obviously, we don't need the whole 25, but we still had to go through the process. So through that process, we had to advertise our intent to apply for the waiver. We had to identify which goals in our title plan that the additional funds would support. So the goal we're focusing on as our district is reading. That's a priority for us. So it's increasing those iLearn scores for our students. And we advertised our intent to apply on both the Lake Central website, and our principals of our title buildings sent the notice out to their families. We received a whopping 3 comments back from that, and they were all in support of the waiver, indicating that they felt like it was better to carry over the funds than to try to spend them quickly, recognizing that our students in these buildings need support. So we received our approval this morning on the waiver. So now we will rebudget those funds and move forward with our Title I services. Thank you.
Thank you, and we'll move right with Mr. Ledgert, our Director of Facilities.
Thank you, Mrs. Seuss. I have 3 items tonight, 2 which require your approval. The first item, as usual, is the update on the projects since school got out last week. Well, the Bibbich new building addition project is going well. We are continuing the drywall, and we're going to start ceilings there at the connecting bathrooms where the tenant classroom addition connects to the existing building. We have painted, primed in the cafeteria. We've got probably about 2/3 of the ceiling done. We'll finish the ceiling in the cafeteria this week. We'll start trimming out the ceiling this week, and we'll probably start some flooring in the cafeteria next week. And we're going to start doing some grading around the site here on tomorrow, weather permitting, and we'll get ready for paving at the end of the month. Since school got out, we started the mechanical project on the existing building. Last week, we emptied out 35 classrooms. We put floor protection down everywhere, and we have all the ceilings are demoed in the donut, the existing building, and we will be demoing the 4th grade wing ceilings tomorrow and Wednesday. And the ductwork was delivered today, and we'll be installing all the ductwork here at the end of the week. That's pretty much all the updates for, we did tear apart the chiller. The chiller's been demoed as well, and all the mechanical rooms have been demoed too since school got out. As Sarah and Rob and Mrs. Seuss saw last week at the OAC meeting, it's very busy. I think we had 75 people at Bibbich today working, so it's very busy over there. Any questions on Bibbich?
Pardon this silly question, but I noticed the building, the little enclosure on the roof, is that where all the HVAC is located now, or do we still have a chiller system, or update me on all that?
Well, that's the existing mezzanine that's always been there on the roof, and
Okay.
we emptied all that out. There'll be new air handlers and everything up in there. But there's still a main boiler room that's always been at Bibbage, and there's a smaller boiler room in the fourth grade wing. And the chiller will be where the chiller's always been, on the east end of the building.
Okay, I didn't know if chillers were a thing of the past. I mean, I don't keep up to date with all that, so I was curious.
There'll be a new chiller.
Oh, okay, thank you, Bill.
On the freshman center, pretty much it's very similar to the existing building mechanical project at Bibbage. Since school got out, we emptied out 31 classrooms in the freshman center, put all the floor protection down. We've demoed all the lights and ceilings in the upstairs, and we've demoed all the lights downstairs, and we're about probably 2/3 of the way through the ceiling downstairs, and we're putting up ductwork and running home run electrical runs for the new lights and everything else. So that's, you can see by the dumpsters outside, it's been a busy last week here. So, and that's ongoing as well, and we're just going around the room and up from the second floor to downstairs. Any questions on that?
You know, when I drive through the parking lot, which I do 2 or 3 times a day, I notice that there's no safety guard around those dumpsters. And in light of, you know, some experiences in the past, I'm wondering if those should be marked with caution tape.
There's cones around them.
I know, but you know how kids are. They don't pay attention to that. And that one dumpster is open. It doesn't have a closure on it.
We're working tonight.
Oh, you are?
Yes.
Okay. I just wonder if you should put caution tape
Yeah,
around.
we can do that, but yeah, we're working tonight. That's why it's open.
Okay. It was open all weekend. Okay, thank you.
My next item is to award and execute change order number 4 to Larson Danielson for bid package 8 for general trades in the amount of $34,201. We had some extra money in the contingency since we're out of the ground, and we are going to rekey all the existing doors at the Bibbage School to make it a little easier for everybody, most of all the staff and Allison and Ashley. I think right now they're dealing with 4 master keys over there, and this will get them 1 master key, and everything will be keyed off that master key. So that's what this is for.
Do we have a motion?
Motion to approve.
Motion by Mrs. Kelly,
Second.
second by Mrs. Talent. Any question or discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes.
Thank you. My last item is to seek your approval to award and execute change order number 1 to Reichelt Plumbing for the Bibbage Building Project bid package number 9 plumbing. This is the amount of $4,000. The toilets that the architect had spec'd in the new classroom addition for the individual classrooms were all spec'd for preschool. They were awful tiny, as most of the people at the OAC meeting saw. So we worked with Reichelt Plumbing and found a solution that we could rework the existing rough in, and we're going to get up a little bigger toilets for 8 of them. We're going to keep 2 of them and replace 8 of them, and this is for $4,000.
Move to approve.
Motion by Mr. Marshall. Second. Second by Dr. Malco. Any discussion or questions? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
And I will abstain, and motion passes. Thank you.
Thank you.
So now we're on to our Director of Business Services, Mr. James.
Thank you, Mrs. Seuss. My first 3 items have to do with our 2024 general obligation bonds. So the first thing we need to do is hold a public hearing to give the public an opportunity to speak on not only the bond issue itself, but then the additional appropriation for the GO bond. So at this time, I turn it over to the public to see if anybody has a comment. Okay, hearing none, I will move on to my second item. The second item is to seek your approval for the 2024 bond resolution that was included in your board packet. As we discussed at the last board meeting, the 2024 bond issue will be for new school buses and asphalt and roof repairs throughout the district. So I seek your approval on the bond resolution.
Move to approve.
Motion by Mr. Marshall.
I'll second.
Second by Mrs. Kelly. Questions, discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes.
Thank you. The next item is to approve the additional appropriation resolution. So once we receive the bond proceeds, there needs to be an appropriation established, and then this resolution establishes the bond proceeds, or excuse me, authorizes the appropriation in the amount of up to $1.8 million for the bond proceeds. We don't know what the bond par amount is going to be yet. We're still waiting on some of the bond issuance costs to come in and what it's going to be, but it won't be more than $1.8 million. So I want to seek your approval on that additional appropriation resolution.
So moved.
Motion by Mr. Marshall, and I will second that. Any questions or discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes.
Thank you. My next item is to seek your approval for our annual food service purchasing agreement and for the food service bids for the 24-25 school year. To refresh the board's memory, back in 2019, we joined the Food to School Purchasing Cooperative with several other school districts across the state, and then that cooperative does the bidding for all members, so that way we don't have to go out and do each individual one. And then that cooperative selects the bidders and awards the contracts, and then we in turn need to approve them locally. So I seek your approval to first maintain with the cooperative for next school year, and then locally approve the grocery contracts for HPS, the milk contract for Pleasant View Dairy, and the bread contract with Alpha Bakery for 24-25.
Motion to approve?
Motion by Mrs. Kelly. Second by Dr. Malco. Any questions, discussion?
Are those the same vendors we've always used?
Yes. And I believe the way it works is they may, the cooperative is statewide, and for example, dairy, Pleasant View is right here in Highland. I think they're allowed, they may award it to 2 or 3 different vendors in each category, so that way different school corporations throughout the state can choose which of the, we'll say 2 or 3 is most applicable to them. So we've had great success with these ones I just mentioned, and we're glad we're continuing that partnership.
Okay, thank you.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes.
Thank you. The next resolution raises our micro purchasing threshold. And what that is that we have board policy 6325 that sets different procurement thresholds for us in the business office and our food service department and so forth. So the USDA and the state of Indiana recently raised the threshold for able to do micro purchasing to $50,000. And what that means is we could get quotes and we could buy things, like actually in food service, for anything less than $50,000 without having to go through either one, the formal bid process, or 2, required to get quotes. We always try, if there's multiple outlets, we try to do our due diligence and get good pricing anyway. But our current board policy sets our threshold at $10,000. So this resolution would raise ours to match the same level as the USDA and the state of Indiana. So I seek your approval on that.
I'd like to move for approval of his recommendation.
We have a motion by Dr. Malco,
Second.
second by Mr. Marshall. Any questions or discussion?
So this resolution then will carry over into a board policy, Dr. Varacco?
That's correct.
Thank you.
Yep.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes.
Now, just to give the board forewarning, what we've learned here recently over the last few months is school districts are annually required to self-certify what that threshold is, even though we have it in board policy. So what we're going to do is, starting in January, as part of our regular Board of Finance meeting that we do, I will have a resolution or something in there where we will annually do it at that time. So 6-7 months from now, you can expect us to just restate the $50,000. So, thank you. And my final item is to seek your donations that were detailed in your board packet.
Move to approve.
Motion by Mr. Marshall. I will second that. Any discussion or questions? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. Thank you.
Thank you. That's all I have.
Thank you. And we have no public comments, so we'll go right into board comments and consideration of future agenda items. Mr. Marshall.
Thank you, but nothing this evening.
Thank you. Mrs. Kelly.
This past weekend, the Schererville Parks Department had their annual parade, and I got to be a judge as a member of the Parks Board there, so that was exciting. But what I wanted to comment on was that Grimmer Middle School had a walking group in there, as did the marching band, and we also had Coach Pickett and Coach Koulianos from the Lake Central football team. So it was great to see some familiar faces and see the schools in there participating in the town event. So that's all. Thank you.
Great. Mrs. Talent.
I just wanted to say thank you to the high school team that pulled together the graduation services. I just thought it was a really well-done event, and it was kind of cold, but it did go across with a lot of precision. And I know a lot of people have been to several graduations at university level, et cetera, and I really think the staff did a good job, and I just wanted to thank them.
Absolutely. Thank you. Dr. Malko.
No, that's nice to hear that our students were participating in the Schererville Parade. That's cool. I did not, I was not able to attend. And you're right, graduation was very nice, but it was cold. And Mr. James, do you know when the big buses will be arriving? I know that they're ordered, or I think they're ordered.
Hopefully by the end of the calendar year.
Okay.
Because because we just placed the order for them this past few weeks, and it's usually about a 6-month process, so.
Are they colorful like the other ones were with the blue and the white?
If you're referring to the long-distance trip buses, so they will be white, and then I believe they'll have some sort of decals on them similar. I'm not sure, we haven't really talked about the design specifically yet, but it will be, they'll be white with some sort of decor on it. Yep, absolutely. Yep.
Thank you.
Sure.
That's all.
All right. And I too just would like to thank anybody who took part in getting that graduation together. I can imagine it's no easy feat. And congratulations to our girls softball. I wish they would have went to state, but that wasn't in the powers to be this year. But our boys baseball next Saturday are definitely going to state, so congratulations to them. And good luck. And with that, I'll turn it over to Dr. Varacco for board calendar or future activities.
Thank you. We only have one meeting in July as per our standard practice. That is July the 15th. As I mentioned earlier to the board, though, I'm interested in having a work session the week before to review some board policies, and I will send an email out, hopefully tomorrow afternoon, discussing that piece. So July 15th, likely in the K-Trap room, because we should be done with recognition for now.
Okay. And do we have a motion for adjournment?
Motion to adjourn.
Do we have a second? We're adjourned.